What if the history we were taught is only the surface? What if the ancient world wasn't primitive at all, but advanced in ways we still don't fully understand? Beneath layers of sand and stone lie cities that shouldn't exist. Precision that modern engineers still struggle to explain. Civilizations that rose with impossible knowledge and then vanished without a warning. The pyramids align with the stars. Ancient cities had systems more efficient than some we use today. And across the world, the same patterns appear again and again. The real question isn't what we've discovered. It's what was lost. And more unsettling, what might still be buried, waiting to be remembered.
Imagine a time when the world was young, when the whispers of the earth held secrets beyond our comprehension. A time long before the conveniences of modern technology and the certainty of historical records. When the line between myth and reality was blurred, and the past seemed like an endless ocean of unexplored mysteries. We find ourselves standing at the edge of that vast ocean, gazing into the depths of time, where the unknown beckons with an enigmatic allure. The ancient world, with its towering monuments, intricate cultures, and forgotten knowledge, stretches before us like a vast canvas. Its stories partially painted, yet many parts still shrouded in shadow. It is a humbling thought to consider that we, the children of this modern age, are living in the echoes of something far greater than we can fully understand. The past is not simply a collection of stories and events. It is a living entity, one whose secrets are hidden beneath layers of soil, time, and neglect. In the ruins of ancient cities, the remnants of once thriving civilizations, we find only fragments, broken pieces of a puzzle that we have yet to put together. And though we have spent centuries trying to decipher these remnants, much of what they truly represent continues to evade our grasp. The history we know is just a faint reflection of a world that once was. What we have uncovered, monuments, writings, artifacts, are but fragments that barely hint at the deeper truths hidden beneath. There are temples buried beneath deserts, entire libraries lost to fire and time, sacred cities covered by the relentless passage of centuries. Each of these remnants speaks of a time long past, yet they also hold within them the weight of untold mysteries. What knowledge did these ancient peoples possess? What wisdom did they uncover that we, in our rush to build and conquer, have left behind or forgotten? Our modern understanding of history is based on what we have uncovered, but it is important to acknowledge that so much remains hidden. Some secrets may still lie beneath the earth, in forgotten tombs and crumbling ruins, waiting to be rediscovered. Others may have been lost forever, wiped away by the sweep of time, or hidden by those who wanted to protect them from the reach of later generations. And then, there are the mysteries that seem to defy explanation, those that still linger in the air like a fog, unsettling and unresolved. These are the questions that challenge our understanding of the past, that provoke our curiosity and ignite our imaginations. What was the true purpose of the ancient pyramids? How did the Sumerians achieve their advanced knowledge of astronomy and mathematics? What did the ancient Egyptians know about the stars, the heavens, and the very fabric of the universe that we have yet to uncover? These are the questions that have driven explorers, archaeologists, and historians for centuries. But even with all our advancements, we are still left with more questions than answers. Every discovery seems to open up new mysteries, as if the more we uncover, the deeper the mysteries grow. It is as though the past is holding onto its secrets with a quiet, patient resolve, allowing only glimpses into its true nature. As we embark on this journey into the ancient world, it is essential to keep in mind the vastness of what remains unknown. History is often told in clear lines, with dates and events, kings and kingdoms neatly recorded in dusty volumes. But the true story of the past is not so easily captured. It is written in the stars, in the ruins of long-forgotten cities, in the songs of people whose names we will never know. It is a story that unfolds slowly, like a whisper carried on the wind, fading in and out of our understanding. And it is a story that we, as modern-day explorers, are still attempting to read, with no clear understanding of the full text. The ancient world is a place where light and shadow dance together. It is a place where what we know is often overshadowed by what we don't know, where fact and mystery blend together to create a tapestry of intrigue and wonder. Take, for example, the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia. The Sumerians, Babylonians, and Assyrians left behind extraordinary achievements, impressive cities, written records, and incredible knowledge of the heavens. Yet, much of their history is lost to us, obscured by time and the fragile nature of human memory. We know that they were advanced in many ways, but we still don't fully understand how they built their great cities, what technologies they possessed, or how they viewed the universe around them. Or consider the Egyptians, with their grand pyramids and sophisticated understanding of mathematics and engineering. These monumental structures, which still stand as testament to human ingenuity, continue to elude our full understanding. Were they built by slaves, as is often believed, or did they involve a different kind of labor, a more mystical or divine intervention? The mysteries of the pyramids are just one example of how ancient knowledge often comes wrapped in layers of mystery, waiting for us to peel back each one. The knowledge that created these wonders is not merely lost. It is veiled, as if the past itself is protecting something we are not yet ready to fully comprehend. As we dive deeper into the stories of these ancient civilizations, we must remember that our understanding of history is limited by what we have found, by what has survived. We are like travelers exploring a vast and unexplored landscape, discovering bits and pieces of a map that leads to a destination we cannot yet see. Every discovery brings us closer, but the full picture remains elusive, just beyond our reach. And yet, there's a quiet beauty in this process of exploration, in the journey itself. Each new piece of knowledge, no matter how small, adds a layer of understanding to the great mystery of the past. And so, we step into this ancient world with a sense of wonder, knowing that we may never uncover all of its secrets, but that each step forward brings us closer to understanding the true nature of the civilizations that once thrived upon it. This is not just a search for facts. It is a search for meaning, for the stories that connect us to those who lived before us. As we journey together, we invite you to reflect on the stories of these ancient peoples, to ponder the mysteries they left behind, and to wonder at the knowledge they possessed, knowledge that, though it may be buried beneath the sands of time, still calls out to us, inviting us to listen. The ancient world often speaks in riddles, with echoes that stretch across millennia, drawing us into a mystery that remains ever elusive. One of the most profound sources of these enigmas is Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Here, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers once carved their paths through the land, the earliest known civilizations flourished, leaving behind a legacy that is both awe-inspiring and perplexing. Mesopotamia is a land of paradoxes, where the rise of cities, writing, and complex societies occurred alongside mysteries that even today we cannot fully understand. At the heart of Mesopotamia lies the Sumerian civilization, often considered one of the first advanced societies in human history. The Sumerians, who inhabited the southern region of modern-day Iraq, were responsible for many groundbreaking innovations that continue to shape our world today. They created one of the first writing systems, cuneiform, and with it, they recorded their stories, laws, and astronomical observations. These early texts provide us with a glimpse into the world of the Sumerians, their beliefs, and their understanding of the universe. Yet, for all their accomplishments, the Sumerians remained shrouded in mystery. Their civilization appeared seemingly out of nowhere, and though they left behind extensive records, there are many aspects of their society that remain unexplained. One of the greatest enigmas of Sumerian culture is their relationship with the stars. The Sumerians were keen astronomers, meticulously observing the night sky, mapping the movements of the planets, and creating calendars based on their observations. But their knowledge of the heavens seemed to surpass what would be expected from a civilization at the time. They understood the cycles of celestial bodies with a precision that was not seen again until much later in history. How did they acquire such knowledge? Was it the result of centuries of careful observation, or did they have access to knowledge that was far beyond their time? The Sumerians were not the only civilization in Mesopotamia to leave behind a legacy full of wonder and mystery. The Babylonians, who followed the Sumerians, built upon their astronomical knowledge and advanced it even further. The Babylonians are often credited with developing the first true scientific method in the Western world, particularly in their study of astronomy. They not only mapped the stars, but also began to understand the movements of planets and their relationship to earthly events. They were able to predict eclipses and other celestial phenomena with remarkable accuracy. Yet, even as their understanding of the heavens grew more sophisticated, they continued to believe in the influence of the gods and other supernatural forces on the events of the world. In this way, the Babylonians blended their scientific discoveries with a deep spiritual connection to the cosmos, blurring the line between the rational and the mystical. One of the most fascinating and perplexing aspects of Mesopotamian civilization is the concept of the gods. The Sumerians and Babylonians, like many ancient cultures, believed that their lives were directly influenced by divine beings. The pantheon of gods in Mesopotamian culture was vast and varied, with gods of creation, destruction, and everything in between. These gods were often depicted as powerful and capricious, influencing the fate of kings, cities, and entire civilizations. What is particularly intriguing, however, is the way in which the Sumerians and Babylonians spoke of these gods. Many of their texts describe beings who descended from the heavens to share their knowledge with humans, beings that were not entirely human but appeared to possess godlike qualities. Could it be that these gods were more than just mythological figures? Some theories suggest that these gods may have been extraterrestrial beings, visitors from distant stars who imparted their knowledge to early human civilizations. This theory is known as the ancient astronaut hypothesis, and it posits that advanced alien civilizations may have visited Earth in ancient times, influencing the development of early societies. While there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, it remains a compelling possibility, especially in light of the advanced knowledge that the Sumerians and Babylonians seem to have possessed. Could the gods of Mesopotamia have been visitors from the stars, sharing their wisdom with a primitive human race? Or were these divine beings simply symbolic representations of forces beyond human comprehension? The mystery deepens when we consider the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, massive step pyramids that were built to honor the gods and serve as temples. These structures, which dotted the landscape of ancient Sumer and Babylon, are some of the most impressive architectural feats of the ancient world. They were designed to bring the heavens closer to the earth, with their towering heights and broad terraces. The ziggurats were not just places of worship. They were also symbols of the connection between the gods and the people. But how were these massive structures built? And why were they constructed in such an elaborate manner? The scale of the ziggurats suggests that there was a deep understanding of engineering and mathematics, knowledge that seems advanced for the time. Some scholars believe that the ziggurats were designed to align with celestial bodies, creating a direct link between the earth and the heavens. The idea that ancient civilizations could have used advanced knowledge of astronomy to design their buildings is both fascinating and perplexing. Were these ziggurats simply religious structures, or were they something more? Could they have been built for a more practical purpose, perhaps as observatories or even energy sources, harnessing the power of the stars in ways we have yet to understand? As we reflect on the legacy of Mesopotamian civilization, we are confronted with more questions than answers. The Sumerians and Babylonians left behind remarkable achievements, writing systems, advanced knowledge of the stars, and architectural wonders, but their true nature remains shrouded in mystery. Were they simply early pioneers of human civilization, or were they guided by a deeper, perhaps even otherworldly, knowledge? The tantalizing glimpses of their achievements suggest that there is much more to their story than we can currently comprehend. In this way, Mesopotamia serves as a gateway into a larger mystery, the ongoing search for lost knowledge. As we delve deeper into the ancient world, we begin to see patterns emerging, patterns that suggest that the secrets of the past are not as distant or as lost as we might think. Perhaps the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia knew something we have forgotten, or perhaps they were the recipients of knowledge from time before recorded history. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the past, we are reminded that history is not just a collection of facts and figures. It is a living, breathing story, one that continues to unfold with each new discovery. The enigma of Mesopotamian civilization is just one chapter in a larger narrative of human history, a story that stretches back to the very dawn of time. Yet, the questions raised by the Sumerians and Babylonians remind us that there is much more to the past than meets the eye. With each layer of history we peel back, we come closer to understanding the true nature of our origins, our connection to the stars, and the mysteries that continue to lie just beyond our grasp. As we turn the pages of this ancient story, we are reminded that the past is not just something we study. It is a world that we are still learning to understand, and perhaps, one day, a world we will fully uncover. The ziggurats of ancient Mesopotamia rise from the earth like colossal sentinels, their towering forms casting long shadows over the land, silent yet powerful witnesses to the mysteries that once surrounded them. These monumental structures, with their massive stepped platforms and temple-like crowns, were not just feats of architectural wonder, but symbols of the profound connection between the heavens and the earth. They were built to honor the gods, each one a dedication to a deity from the Mesopotamian pantheon, whose power was believed to govern the cosmos and everything within it. But what did these ziggurats truly represent, and what role did they play in the ancient world? The answers remain elusive, clouded by the passage of millennia. But the more we delve into their construction and purpose, the more we realize that these structures were far more than religious monuments. The term ziggurat itself invokes images of towering, multi-storied pyramids, their steps leading upwards toward the sky. Each ziggurat was constructed with several terraces, stacked one on top of the other, reaching skyward in a way that made it possible to ascend closer to the gods. In a world where the heavens were seen as a divine realm, this upward movement was symbolic. The ziggurat was meant to act as a bridge between the earthly realm and the divine one. At the top of each ziggurat, a temple was placed, often dedicated to the patron deity of the city in which the ziggurat stood. The city of Uar, for example, was home to the great ziggurat, dedicated to the moon god Nana. This connection between the earthly and the divine was at the heart of Mesopotamian religious life. However, as much as these structures were religious symbols, they were also highly sophisticated architectural feats. Their construction required a deep understanding of engineering and mathematics, particularly in terms of creating the necessary stability to support such colossal forms. The Sumerians, Babylonians, and Assyrians, the builders of these ziggurats, were undoubtedly skilled in the art of construction. But what is truly remarkable is that, in an era where architectural design was still in its infancy, the ziggurats seemed to possess an extraordinary level of precision. The alignment of their walls, the dimensions of each terrace, and the use of mud bricks, materials that were abundant but notoriously fragile, suggest a level of engineering knowledge that surpassed what one might expect from civilizations of this time. What makes the ziggurats even more fascinating is their alignment with celestial bodies. Many researchers have speculated that these grand structures were built with the cosmos in mind. The Babylonians, for example, had a profound understanding of the stars and the movements of planets, and it is thought that the ziggurats may have been constructed with the intention of aligning with specific astronomical events, such as the rising and setting of particular stars or the movements of the planets. The idea that these massive structures were designed with such astronomical precision invites us to ask, could the ziggurats have been more than just temples? Could they have been giant observatories, built to track the heavens and align the actions of the people below with the cosmic rhythms above? There's an undeniable sense of mystery surrounding the purpose of these structures. The idea that the ziggurats were merely places of worship feels too simplistic given their scale and complexity. Some have even suggested that the ziggurats may have been more than spiritual monuments. They may have been repositories of knowledge, holding secrets about the nature of the universe. Perhaps the priests who tended to the ziggurats were not only conducting religious ceremonies, but also practicing an ancient form of science, one that combined astronomy, mathematics, and possibly even engineering. This synthesis of knowledge, though lost to us, hints at the possibility that the ziggurats were both religious and scientific centers, designed to bridge the gap between the physical and spiritual worlds. Another layer of mystery is added when we consider the advanced building techniques that the Mesopotamians employed. The ziggurats were constructed using mud bricks, a material that, while easy to form, is prone to erosion over time. Yet, despite the fragility of the material, these structures have endured for thousands of years, weathering countless storms, floods, and the ravages of time. How did the builders of the ziggurats ensure that their structures could withstand such challenges? Was there a secret to the construction process that has been lost? Or did they possess knowledge of building techniques that modern engineers are only now rediscovering? What makes this question even more intriguing is the fact that we still do not fully understand how the ziggurats were built. Some scholars believe that the labor force required for such an undertaking would have been enormous, with thousands of workers required to haul the mud bricks, shape them, and stack them into place. But other theories suggest that there could have been advanced tools or techniques at play that allowed for a faster, more efficient construction process. Could the Mesopotamians have used a form of mechanical advantage that we have yet to uncover? Or were there methods of construction that have been lost to history, buried beneath the sands of time? There is also the tantalizing possibility that the ziggurats may have served a function beyond mere observation or worship. Some have proposed that these massive structures could have been used for more practical purposes, such as agricultural or economic activities. Could the ziggurats have been designed to serve as storage facilities or markets, places where people gathered to exchange goods, trade information, and keep records? The use of the ziggurats as centers of commerce, if true, would add a new layer of complexity to our understanding of these ancient structures. Furthermore, the use of ziggurats in different cities across Mesopotamia raises the question of whether there was a unified plan behind their construction. Were the ziggurats a singular architectural style, or were they unique to each region, reflecting the specific needs and beliefs of the people who built them? The existence of these structures and cities as far apart as Ur, Babylon, and Nineveh suggests that there may have been a shared cultural or religious ideology that transcended individual cities. Could the ziggurats have represented a broader cosmic order, a symbol of the divine hierarchy that connected all of Mesopotamian society? As we contemplate the legacy of the ziggurats, we are left with more questions than answers. These structures stand as enigmatic symbols of a time long past, their purpose and construction still shrouded in mystery. What is clear, however, is that the ziggurats were not just places of worship. They were monuments to a civilization that understood the cosmos in a way that we are only beginning to appreciate. The ziggurats are a testament to the ingenuity of the Mesopotamians, whose understanding of the world was both advanced and deeply mystical. As we continue to study these ancient wonders, we are reminded that there is still much to learn from the past, and that the secrets of the ziggurats may one day be revealed, unlocking a deeper understanding of the ancient world and its connection to the stars. Turning our gaze to the enigmatic land of Egypt, we are drawn into one of the most captivating mysteries of the ancient world, the Great Pyramids of Giza. These monumental structures, towering above the sands of the desert, have stood for millennia as silent sentinels to an era long past. Their construction, purpose, and the knowledge embedded within them continue to intrigue scholars, archaeologists, and dreamers alike. Though much has been discovered about the pyramids, many questions remain unanswered, leaving us to wonder, how were these massive structures built with such precision and grandeur, and what secrets might they hold beneath their weathered stones. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the largest and most famous of the three pyramids on the Giza Plateau, stands as a testament to the engineering prowess of ancient Egypt. Built during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom, around 2580 to 2560 BCE, it was originally intended to serve as the tomb of the pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops. The pyramid is an awe-inspiring structure, with its base measuring approximately 230 meters, 755 feet, on each side and originally rising to a height of 146 meters, 481 feet. Even today, the Great Pyramid remains the tallest man-made structure in the world for nearly 4,000 years, and its sheer scale continues to provoke wonder. Despite the pyramid's impressive size and the extensive study of its construction, there is still no consensus on exactly how it was built. Conventional wisdom suggests that it was constructed using a large workforce of laborers with massive blocks of stone, some weighing several tons, being hauled and placed into position. But how were these enormous stones moved? And how did the ancient Egyptians achieve such precision without the advanced machinery we have today? Some scholars argue that the Egyptians used a system of ramps and levers, but the exact methods remain speculative. The logistics of such a feat remain one of the greatest mysteries of ancient Egypt, leaving many to wonder if the Egyptians had access to techniques or knowledge that have since been lost to time. The precision of the pyramid's construction is another puzzle that continues to baffle researchers. The alignment of the Great Pyramid is so precise that it is aligned almost exactly with the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west, something that would have been nearly impossible to achieve without advanced astronomical knowledge. The sides of the pyramid are also remarkably straight, with a variation of only a fraction of a degree over its entire length. This level of precision suggests a deep understanding of mathematics and geometry, but the methods by which the Egyptians achieved such accuracy remain unclear. Could they have had access to lost technologies or knowledge that allowed them to construct such a masterpiece? Theories about the purpose of the pyramids also abound, with some suggesting that they were not merely tombs, but something more, something that connected the earthly realm to the divine. The ancient Egyptians believed in an afterlife, and the pyramid was seen as a conduit for the pharaoh's soul to ascend to the heavens and join the gods. The pyramid's shape, with its sloping sides, was thought to represent the rays of the sun, and it was believed that the pharaoh, upon death, would be reborn as a god. This connection to the divine was central to the pyramid's design and its significance. But could there be more to the pyramid's purpose than just the pharaoh's burial? Some theories suggest that the pyramids were designed to serve as a type of cosmic energy amplifier, harnessing the energy of the earth and the stars. The pyramid's precise alignment with celestial bodies, such as the stars of Orion's belt, hints at a deeper connection between the earth and the heavens. Was the pyramid a tool for spiritual or even metaphysical purposes beyond the pharaoh's tomb? This idea of the pyramids as cosmic structures is further supported by the discovery of the so-called King's Chamber within the Great Pyramid. The chamber, located deep within the pyramid, is where the pharaoh's sarcophagus was placed. The walls of the chamber are made of massive blocks of granite, and it is situated in such a way that the chamber's internal measurements seem to correspond to various astronomical phenomena. The precise orientation of the chamber and the materials used in its construction have led some researchers to speculate that the chamber was designed not only to hold the pharaoh's remains, but also to serve as a focal point for cosmic energy. Could it be that the Egyptians used the pyramid not just as a tomb, but as a way to tap into the spiritual and physical forces of the universe? The mysteries surrounding the construction and purpose of the Great Pyramid have sparked numerous theories, some of which verge on the fantastical. One of the most famous theories suggests that the pyramids were built by extraterrestrial beings who imparted their advanced knowledge to the ancient Egyptians. Proponents of the ancient astronaut theory argue that the precision of the pyramids, as well as the sheer scale of the construction, could not have been achieved by human hands alone. According to this theory, extraterrestrial visitors may have provided the Egyptians with advanced technologies, such as levitation devices or other means of transporting the massive stone blocks used in construction. While this idea remains controversial and unsupported by mainstream archaeology, it continues to captivate the imagination of those who seek an alternative explanation for the mysteries of the pyramids. Another intriguing theory is that the pyramids were constructed as part of a larger, global network of ancient sites that were all aligned with the stars. This idea suggests that the pyramids, along with other ancient structures such as the stone circles of England and the temples of Central America, were part of a vast cosmic map that the ancient civilizations used to understand the movements of the stars and planets. Could the Egyptians, along with other ancient cultures, have had a shared knowledge of the cosmos that allowed them to align their structures with celestial events? The precise alignment of the pyramids with the stars, particularly the alignment with the constellation of Orion, raises the possibility that these structures were part of a much larger, global system of astronomical knowledge that has since been lost to history. Despite the many theories and questions surrounding the pyramids, one thing remains clear. The Great Pyramid of Giza is a marvel of ancient engineering and a symbol of the ingenuity and spiritual devotion of the ancient Egyptians. Whether it was built as a tomb, a cosmic amplifier, or something else entirely, the pyramid stands as a testament to the mysteries of the past and the enduring legacy of ancient Egypt. The mysteries surrounding its construction and purpose continue to intrigue us, drawing us closer to the ancient world, where the boundaries between the earthly and the divine were often indistinguishable. As we look upon the pyramids, we are reminded that there are still vast stretches of human history waiting to be understood, and that some of the greatest mysteries of all may lie hidden beneath the sands of time. As we continue our journey into the mysteries of the ancient world, we now turn our attention to another extraordinary civilization, one whose influence shaped not only the ancient Near East, but the entire course of human history. The civilization of ancient Egypt, often synonymous with monumental pyramids, pharaohs, and gods, holds an allure that stretches beyond its iconic imagery. It is a land steeped in mystery, where the boundaries between the sacred and the earthly were woven together in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. The Egyptians, who crafted some of the most remarkable achievements of the ancient world, left behind a legacy that continues to fascinate and mystify us. One of the most profound aspects of Egyptian culture was their belief in the afterlife, a belief that permeated every aspect of their society, from their monumental tombs to their complex religious practices. To the Egyptians, death was not an end, but a transition, a journey from the mortal world to the divine. The afterlife was seen as a continuation of life, where the soul of the deceased would be judged and either granted eternal life or condemned to oblivion. This journey to the afterlife was not just a spiritual endeavor, it was also a physical one. The Egyptians believed that the body needed to be preserved in order to ensure the survival of the soul in the afterlife, which is why they developed the art of mummification. Mummification was a highly sophisticated process designed to preserve the body for eternity. The process involved the removal of internal organs, the desiccation of the body using natron, a type of salt, and the wrapping of the body in layers of linen. The embalming process could take up to 70 days, and the final product was a mummified body that was both lifelike and impervious to decay. But why did the Egyptians invest so much effort into preserving the body? Was it simply a belief in the immortality of the soul, or was there something more to the practice that we have yet to understand? There are those who suggest that the practice of mummification was linked to the Egyptians' deep understanding of the cycles of life and death. The Egyptians viewed the afterlife not as a separate realm, but as an extension of the living world, a place where the deceased could continue to interact with the living and maintain a relationship with the gods. In order for the deceased to enter the afterlife, they had to be recognized by the gods, and this recognition was believed to be facilitated by the preservation of the body. The body, in the eyes of the Egyptians, was not just a vessel for the soul. It was a necessary part of the journey to the afterlife. This connection between body and soul, life and death, is central to the Egyptian worldview and remains one of the most intriguing aspects of their civilization. Beyond mummification, The Egyptians left behind a vast body of religious texts and symbols that provide insight into their beliefs about life, death, and the divine. The Book of the Dead, a funerary text that was often placed in tombs alongside the deceased, provides a detailed account of the journey of the soul after death. This text describes the various stages of the afterlife, including the judgment of the soul by the gods, the weighing of the heart against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice, and the ultimate goal of reaching the eternal paradise of the field of reeds. These texts are filled with complex symbolism, describing not only the physical journey of the deceased, but also the moral and spiritual journey of the soul as it seeks to attain immortality. The gods of ancient Egypt played a central role in this journey. The most important of these gods was Osiris, the god of the afterlife, who was believed to have been the first ruler of Egypt and the one who established the laws of life and death. Osiris was the god who judged the souls of the deceased, determining whether they were worthy of eternal life. His role in the afterlife was so important that many pharaohs sought to identify themselves with Osiris, ensuring their place in the afterlife through association with the god. The pharaohs, as living gods on earth, were believed to be divine intermediaries between the gods and the people. Upon their death, it was believed that they would join the gods in the afterlife, ensuring the continuity of the divine order. The process of dying, burial, and resurrection in ancient Egypt is reflected in the very structure of their tombs. The tombs of the pharaohs, such as those found in the Valley of the Kings, were elaborate structures designed not only to house the remains of the deceased, but also to serve as gateways to the afterlife. These tombs were filled with treasures, offerings, and inscriptions, each designed to ensure that the deceased would be well equipped for their journey to the other world. The most famous tomb of all, the tomb of Tutankhamun, was discovered by Howard Carter in 1922 and revealed a wealth of treasures that illuminated the opulence and ritual of Egyptian burial practices. But beyond the gold and jewels, what these tombs really speak to is the Egyptians' unwavering belief in life beyond death and their understanding of the spiritual dimensions of existence. One of the most enduring symbols of Egyptian civilization is the Great Pyramids, particularly the Pyramid of Khufu at Giza. These monumental structures, built as tombs for the pharaohs, are more than just architectural feats. They are, in many ways, the physical embodiment of the Egyptian belief in the afterlife. The pyramids were designed as places where the pharaohs could begin their journey to the afterlife, ascending from the mortal realm to join the gods. The shape of the pyramid itself, with its four sloping sides, was symbolic of the sun's rays and represented the pharaoh's ascent to the divine. The pyramids were not only tombs, but powerful symbols of resurrection, reflecting the Egyptian understanding of life, death, and the cyclical nature of existence. While the pyramids and the mummies within them remain symbols of Egypt's grandeur, they are also a testament to the mystery that surrounds this ancient civilization. Despite the extensive studies of Egyptian culture and religion, many aspects of their beliefs and practices remain shrouded in mystery. How did the Egyptians come to possess such a deep understanding of the afterlife? How were they able to construct such awe-inspiring tombs and temples with the technology available to them? And perhaps most intriguingly, why did they invest so much in the preservation of the body? Was there a deeper, more profound purpose to these practices that we have yet to uncover? The pyramids, the tombs, the mummies, these are the enduring legacies of ancient Egypt, but they are also windows into a world of mystery and wonder. The Egyptians, with their rich spiritual life, their devotion to the gods, and their understanding of the afterlife, crafted a civilization that continues to captivate us. Their beliefs and practices offer us a glimpse into a world where life and death were intertwined, where the divine and the mortal were connected in ways we may never fully understand. Yet, as we delve into the mysteries of ancient Egypt, we are reminded that there are still secrets buried in the sands, waiting to be uncovered by those who seek to unravel the enigma of this ancient world. As we drift from the monumental sands of Egypt to the rugged hills of ancient Greece, We find ourselves in a world where mystery and human curiosity intertwine in equally compelling ways. Here, the focus is not on colossal tombs or towering pyramids, but on the ethereal realm of prophecy and divine communication. The Oracle of Delphi, perched high on the slopes of Mount Parnassus, stands as one of the most enigmatic sites of the ancient world, where whispers of the future were said to flow through the lips of a mortal chosen by the gods. This sacred place, shrouded in mist and legend, invites us to contemplate the delicate balance between human understanding and the unknowable, between what is real and what is perceived. Delphi, often described as the navel of the world by the ancient Greeks, was believed to be the center of the earth, a place where heaven and earth converged. The oracle, known as the Pythia, was a priestess of Apollo, chosen to serve as the voice through which the god communicated with humanity. When seekers of knowledge approached Delphi, they were not merely asking questions. They were seeking guidance, insight, and sometimes warnings about events that had yet to unfold. The Pythia would enter a trance-like state, often induced by mysterious vapors rising from a fissure in the earth, and speak in riddles that were then interpreted by the priests. The words of the oracle were often cryptic, laden with metaphor, and open to interpretation, yet they held profound significance for kings, generals, and commoners alike. The mystery of the oracle lies not only in the messages delivered, but also in the means by which they were received. For centuries, scholars have debated whether the Pythia's visions were purely spiritual, a result of divine inspiration, or if they were influenced by natural phenomena. The fissure beneath Delphi is now understood to have emitted ethylene and other gases, which can induce a trance-like state when inhaled in small quantities. Could it be that the mysterious power of the oracle was rooted in both science and spirituality, a delicate interplay of natural chemistry and human belief? The ancient Greeks themselves may have understood the power of this combination, blending the mystical with the empirical in a way that transcended modern categorization. The influence of the oracle extended far beyond the small sanctuary on Mount Parnassus. City-states would consult Delphi before embarking on wars, establishing colonies, or making critical political decisions. The words of the Pythia could alter the course of history, shaping the destinies of entire civilizations. Leaders such as Croesus, the wealthy king of Lydia, sought the oracle's counsel before launching campaigns, only to find that the cryptic nature of the prophecies could mislead as easily as guide. The ambiguity of these messages is part of what has fueled the fascination with Delphi for millennia. They remind us that knowledge, no matter how divine or mystical, is rarely absolute and often requires interpretation, intuition, and contemplation. The rituals surrounding the oracle were as intricate as the messages themselves. Pilgrims would make long journeys, often traversing treacherous terrain to reach the sacred site. Upon arrival, they would undergo purification rites, offering sacrifices and prayers to appease the gods. The environment itself contributed to the atmosphere of mystery. The sanctuary was enveloped in the scent of incense and the smoke of burning offerings, the air heavy with anticipation. In this liminal space between the mortal and the divine, the human mind was poised to receive visions, guidance, or inspiration. The interplay of anticipation, ritual, and natural phenomena created a state in which the boundaries between the known and unknown, the earthly and the divine, seemed to dissolve. Yet, despite centuries of study, much about Delphi remains unresolved. How did the Pythia, an ordinary human being, become capable of speaking truths that seemed to transcend time and circumstance? Was it the ethereal vapors that enabled her visions, or was there an untapped power of the mind that allowed her to access a realm beyond ordinary perception? Some modern theories suggest that the oracle may have drawn upon an unconscious form of pattern recognition, interpreting subtle signs from the natural world to offer guidance that appeared prophetic. Others maintain that the Pythia was a conduit for a genuine mystical experience, one that tapped into forces beyond human understanding. The uncertainty surrounding Delphi is part of its enduring allure, inviting each generation to wonder, explore, and seek answers. The Oracle of Delphi also reveals much about the human need to understand the future, to grasp control over the unpredictable currents of life. Even today, we are drawn to divination, horoscopes, and predictions, seeking reassurance or guidance from something greater than ourselves. In ancient Greece, this impulse took form in a formalized system, where the divine and human intertwined seamlessly. Delphi illustrates that human curiosity about the unknown has always been a driving force, compelling us to seek meaning and connection, even in the face of uncertainty. The very existence of such a site highlights the lengths to which civilizations have gone to bridge the gap between mortal knowledge and cosmic understanding. Beyond the Pythia herself, Delphi was home to countless inscriptions, monuments, and treasures that reflected the significance of the site. The walls of the sanctuary were adorned with dedications from city-states, offerings from kings, and artistic representations of myths and legends. These artifacts serve as silent witnesses to the reverence in which the oracle was held and provide glimpses into the cultural and spiritual life of ancient Greece. The richness of the site underscores the importance of Delphi not merely as a physical location, but as a conceptual space, a symbol of the human quest for insight, the pursuit of wisdom, and the deep desire to connect with forces beyond the visible world. Even as the centuries passed and the power of Delphi waned, its legacy endured. Philosophers such as Socrates referenced the oracle, and its influence can be traced through the moral and philosophical frameworks of the Western world. The enigmatic pronouncements of the Pythia, often expressed in paradox and metaphor, continue to inspire reflection, demonstrating that the pursuit of wisdom is rarely straightforward. The oracle reminds us that knowledge is not always about certainty. Sometimes it is about interpretation, contemplation, and the willingness to embrace ambiguity. It teaches us that mystery is not merely an obstacle to understanding, but a pathway to deeper insight. In contemplating Delphi, we are reminded of a larger truth, that the quest for knowledge and understanding is as ancient as civilization itself. Across the mountains of Greece, the deserts of Egypt, and the plains of Mesopotamia, human beings have sought to uncover the hidden forces that govern existence. The oracle represents one of the most profound attempts to reach beyond the limitations of mortal perception, to touch the infinite, and to find meaning in the vast expanse of time and space. It is a reminder that even in the face of the unknown, the human spirit persists in seeking, questioning, and connecting with the mysteries that surround us. As we journey further into the shadowed corridors of ancient history, we encounter a mystery that has haunted scholars and adventurers alike for centuries: the fabled lost city of Atlantis. First introduced to the world by the philosopher Plato in the 4th century BCE, Atlantis has since captivated the imaginations of countless generations, becoming a symbol of both grandeur and destruction. Descriptions of a vast, technologically advanced civilization that existed thousands of years before Plato's time, only to disappear into the depths of the sea in a single cataclysmic event, have sparked theories, myths, and expeditions that continue to this day. Plato's accounts of Atlantis, found in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, describe a powerful and wealthy civilization located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. According to Plato, Atlantis was a large island, rich in resources and inhabited by sophisticated people who had mastered engineering, architecture, and politics. At the height of its power, Atlantis was a formidable empire with sprawling cities, intricate canal systems, and grand temples dedicated to its gods. The island's central capital was said to be a marvel of design, featuring concentric rings of land and water, making it a symbol of both order and divine favor. However, Atlantis' glory was not to last. Plato recounts that, over time, the Atlanteans grew corrupt. They became overly ambitious and greedy, seeking to conquer other lands. As a result, they fell out of favor with the gods, And in a dramatic turn of fate, Atlantis was struck by a series of natural disasters, earthquakes, floods, and storms, leading to its final downfall. In a single day and night of misfortune, the entire island sank into the ocean, vanishing without a trace. Plato's description, vivid and detailed, has led many to wonder, did such a civilization ever truly exist, or was Atlantis simply a cautionary tale, a myth created to teach moral lessons about hubris and the fragility of human success? Over the centuries, the story of Atlantis has inspired endless speculation and countless theories about its possible location. Many have attempted to pinpoint the real-life location of this lost civilization, with suggestions ranging from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean, from the Azores to Antarctica. Some have argued that Atlantis was a real place, one that existed long before recorded history, while others contend that Plato's account was purely allegorical, a moral tale rather than a historical record. Despite extensive research and exploration, no definitive evidence has ever been found to support the existence of Atlantis, leaving its fate shrouded in mystery. One of the most compelling theories is that Atlantis may have been based on the ancient Minoan civilization, which flourished on the island of Crete around 1450 BCE. The Minoans were known for their advanced architecture, including large palaces with intricate frescoes, as well as their complex social structures and maritime prowess. The sudden decline of the Minoans, possibly due to a massive volcanic eruption on the nearby island of Thera, modern-day Santorini, has led some to draw parallels between the destruction of Atlantis and the collapse of this ancient civilization. In this theory, the destruction of Atlantis could be a distorted memory of the catastrophic eruption of Thera, which may have wiped out much of the Minoan culture and sent a massive tidal wave across the eastern Mediterranean. Could the stories of Atlantis have been born from the echoes of this real-world disaster? Yet, for all the theories and speculations, no conclusive evidence has ever surfaced to prove the existence of Atlantis. Despite this, the story endures, finding its way into literature, popular culture, and even modern pseudo-archaeology. Some suggest that the lack of physical evidence is simply a testament to the city's ultimate destruction. Perhaps the ruins of Atlantis lie deep beneath the ocean, hidden by time and shifting currents. Others believe that Atlantis represents something far more metaphysical, symbolizing an idealized civilization that once existed in harmony with the earth, only to fall due to human corruption. In this view, the sinking of Atlantis is not just a literal event, but a metaphor for the rise and fall of all great civilizations. One of the reasons Atlantis continues to captivate us is because of the timeless questions it raises about civilization, power, and human nature. Could there ever have been a society as advanced as Atlantis, with technology and knowledge far beyond what we know today? And if such a civilization existed, what lessons might we learn from its rise and fall? These questions tap into a deep-seated human curiosity about our past, about the civilizations that came before us, and about the forces that shape history. Atlantis serves as a reminder that even the most powerful societies are subject to the ravages of time and the unpredictable forces of nature. It compels us to reflect on the transient nature of human achievement and to consider what legacies we, too, will leave behind. As we explore the mystery of Atlantis, we are also reminded of the universal desire for exploration and discovery that drives us to uncover the unknown. Since Plato's time, explorers, adventurers, and archaeologists have scoured the earth and the seas in search of the lost city, hoping to uncover clues that will solve one of history's greatest mysteries. Expeditions have focused on underwater ruins, sunken cities, and ancient texts in an effort to find the fabled Atlantis. Some have even speculated that advanced civilizations may have existed before recorded history, suggesting that Atlantis was part of a much larger, lost world, one that predated the rise of known civilizations like Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Greece. The allure of Atlantis is not confined to the academic world. It also holds a prominent place in popular culture, inspiring novels, films, and even New Age philosophies. The notion of a lost civilization, with its advanced knowledge and mysterious disappearance, taps into our collective imagination. The idea that a society could have existed, achieving such heights of power and enlightenment, only to disappear without a trace, is both a tantalizing and terrifying prospect. It speaks to our hopes and fears about the fragility of our own civilization, and our desire to uncover the hidden truths of the past. In many ways, the mystery of Atlantis transcends its specific details. Whether or not such a city ever existed, the story of Atlantis continues to inspire us because it speaks to universal themes of human ambition, folly, and the search for meaning. The legend of Atlantis reminds us that we are part of a much larger story, one that spans the depths of time and the reaches of the unknown. As we look back on the myths and mysteries of the ancient world, we are reminded that the search for knowledge is an ongoing journey, one that takes us through the realms of both fact and imagination. In the end, the mystery of Atlantis is not just a tale of a lost city. It is a reflection of our enduring quest to understand the past and the forces that shape our future. In the vast and diverse tapestry of human history, there are few mysteries as enigmatic and compelling as the stories of ancient civilizations whose legacies have been swallowed by time. One such civilization, buried beneath the weight of millennia, is the mysterious culture of the Indus Valley. Often overshadowed by the grandeur of Egypt and Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley civilization, also known as the Harappan civilization, was one of the earliest urban societies to flourish in the ancient world. Its cities, infrastructure, and sophisticated urban planning reflect a level of advancement that rivals, if not exceeds, that of its contemporaries. Yet, despite its incredible achievements, much of the civilization's history remains shrouded in mystery. The cities of the Indus Valley, most notably Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, were marvels of urban design. The layout of these cities was organized with meticulous precision. The streets were laid out in a grid pattern, with wide roads intersecting at right angles, a concept that was not widely adopted elsewhere in the world until much later in history. The drainage systems in these cities were advanced, with wells and bathing areas suggesting a focus on cleanliness and public health, long before similar systems were developed in other ancient civilizations. The bricks used in the construction of homes and public buildings were uniform in size, indicating a sophisticated standardization of building materials. Yet, despite the remarkable urban planning and engineering feats of the Indus Valley civilization, the people who inhabited it remain largely unknown to us. The language they spoke remains undeciphered, and there are no known records, inscriptions, or written texts that explain their customs, religion, or daily life. What little we know of the Indus people comes from their material culture, the tools, pottery, jewelry, and other artifacts that have been unearthed at their sites. These artifacts reveal a people with a rich cultural life, one that involved trade, art, and possibly even religious rituals, but the specifics remain elusive. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Indus Valley civilization is the mystery surrounding its sudden decline. Unlike the civilizations of Egypt or Mesopotamia, which experienced gradual changes over time, the collapse of the Indus Valley civilization appears to have been swift and dramatic. Around 1900 BCE, the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were abandoned, and the sophisticated urban centers that once thrived were left in ruins. Some scholars speculate that the decline of the civilization may have been due to environmental factors, such as a sudden change in climate or the drying up of the rivers that sustain the region. Others have suggested that internal social unrest or external invasions could have played a role in the collapse. One particularly compelling theory posits that the Harappan people were victims of a catastrophic shift in the course of the Indus River. The river, which had been the lifeblood of their civilization, may have changed its path, disrupting agriculture and trade, leading to a collapse of the social order. The shifting of the river, in combination with possible droughts or flooding, could have created a perfect storm of ecological and economic pressures that ultimately led to the downfall of the civilization. The ruins of the cities themselves show signs of sudden abandonment, with many homes and public buildings left intact, suggesting that the collapse was both abrupt and complete. Despite the mystery of its decline, the Indus Valley civilization's contributions to the development of human society are undeniable. The culture of the Indus people influenced later civilizations in the region, particularly those of India and Pakistan, and their legacy can still be seen in the art, architecture, and even the urban planning of these later cultures. The Harappan cities, with their advanced drainage systems and grid layouts, may have inspired the planning of cities in the Indian subcontinent for centuries to come. But perhaps the most profound mystery of the Indus Valley civilization is the question of its origins. The civilization appeared to emerge almost fully formed, with little evidence of a gradual evolution from earlier, more primitive societies. This has led some researchers to wonder, where did the Indus people come from, and how did they develop such advanced knowledge of urban planning, engineering, and agriculture? The lack of a clear antecedent to the Indus Valley civilization has led some to speculate that the people of the Indus may have had contact with other, more advanced cultures, either in the distant past or through trade and migration. However, no definitive evidence of such contact has ever been found. The absence of a written record is another barrier to understanding the culture of the Indus Valley. The symbols found on seals and pottery have been studied extensively, but they have yet to be fully deciphered. Some believe these symbols represent a form of writing, while others suggest that they may have been used for religious or ceremonial purposes. Without a key to this ancient script, it remains impossible to fully understand the beliefs, governance, or daily activities of the people who created these symbols. This lack of a written record has contributed to the mystique of the Indus Valley civilization, leaving its people as one of the great unknowns of ancient history. Despite the many challenges in understanding the Indus Valley civilization, ongoing research and archaeological excavations continue to shed new light on this ancient culture. In recent years, scientists have used advanced technologies such as satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar to uncover new sites and gain deeper insights into the layout of ancient cities. These discoveries may eventually help us piece together the history of the Indus Valley, but for now, much remains hidden beneath the earth. What remains clear is that the Indus Valley civilization was one of the most advanced and mysterious cultures of the ancient world. Its cities, its art, and its achievements in urban planning continue to inspire awe and fascination. The people of the Indus Valley left behind a legacy that still holds many secrets. And as we continue to study their remains, we are reminded of the vastness of human history and the mysteries that continue to elude us. As with so many lost civilizations, the Indus Valley stands as a reminder that the past is not a fixed entity, but a puzzle, one that piece by piece we are still trying to solve. As our journey through the forgotten realms of history continues, we turn now to one of the most enduring and elusive mysteries of the ancient world, the fate of the lost city of Pompeii. Situated on the edge of the Bay of Naples in Italy, Pompeii was a thriving Roman city, full of life, commerce, and culture, until it was suddenly and tragically buried under a blanket of volcanic ash and pumice in 79 AD. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius, one of the most catastrophic natural disasters in recorded history, left the city frozen in time, offering a rare and haunting glimpse into the daily lives of its inhabitants. Yet, even as we uncover the physical remnants of Pompeii, the true story of its people, how they lived, and what they endured in the moments leading up to the eruption, remains a subject of intrigue and speculation. Pompeii was a prosperous city, known for its vibrant streets, its grand villas, and its bustling markets. The city's strategic location, nestled at the foot of Mount Vesuvius, made it a center of trade and culture in the Roman Empire. Archaeologists have uncovered a wealth of information about the city's architecture, its art, and its infrastructure. The streets were lined with shops, bakeries, and taverns. The homes were adorned with intricate mosaics and frescoes that depicted scenes from mythology, daily life, and the natural world. Public buildings such as temples, baths, and amphitheaters reflected the grandeur of Roman society, offering a glimpse into the sophistication and complexity of the city's civic life. However, despite the richness of the city's material culture, the people of Pompeii did not foresee the disaster that would soon befall them. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius, which had long been considered an active but dormant volcano, erupted with terrifying force. The eruption began with a violent explosion that sent a column of ash and pumice high into the air. This initial blast was followed by pyroclastic flows, hot, fast-moving clouds of gas and volcanic debris that descended upon the city, burying it under several meters of ash and rock. The eruption was so sudden and catastrophic that many of the city's residents had little time to escape. In a matter of hours, Pompeii was buried, and its people, their homes, and their way of life were entombed. For centuries, the city of Pompeii remained lost to history. The ruins were gradually forgotten, covered by layers of earth and vegetation. It wasn't until the 18th century, during the reign of Charles III of Spain, that excavations began to uncover the buried city. What followed was one of the most significant archaeological discoveries in history. As layers of ash and pumice were carefully removed, the outlines of buildings, streets, and even the remains of people were revealed. The volcanic ash, which had initially destroyed the city, had also preserved it in remarkable detail, capturing a snapshot of Roman life that was unprecedented in its clarity. One of the most haunting aspects of Pompeii's rediscovery was the preservation of the bodies of its inhabitants. Many of the city's residents were caught in the eruption's deadly pyroclastic flows, which were so hot that they caused their bodies to decompose quickly, leaving only the hollow impressions of their forms in the surrounding volcanic ash. Archaeologists, using a technique known as plaster casting, filled these impressions with plaster to create lifelike models of the people who perished in the eruption. These casts, which capture the final moments of the victims' lives, have become some of the most iconic images of Pompeii. They offer a poignant reminder of the city's tragic fate and provide a human connection to the ancient past that is difficult to ignore. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius and the burial of Pompeii raises profound questions about fate, time, and memory. The city's destruction was a singular event in the life of the Roman Empire, but it was also a fleeting moment in the broader sweep of history. Pompeii's sudden and violent end has fascinated generations of scholars, artists, and writers who have sought to understand how such a thriving city could be wiped out so completely, and what that says about the fragility of human existence. The destruction of Pompeii serves as a powerful reminder that no matter how advanced or secure a civilization may seem, nature's forces can strike without warning, altering the course of history in an instant. In many ways, the story of Pompeii mirrors the broader theme of mystery and disappearance that pervades the study of ancient civilizations. While the eruption of Vesuvius was a natural disaster, the fact that Pompeii was buried so completely, preserving its streets, buildings, and even its inhabitants, has allowed us to glimpse a lost world in a way that few other ancient cities can offer. The tragedy of Pompeii, in this sense, has preserved a fragment of history that would otherwise have been lost to time, providing a unique and detailed snapshot of Roman life at its height. Yet, for all the information we have uncovered about the city's architecture, art, and daily life, there is still much we do not know about the people who lived in Pompeii. How did they react to the eruption? What was their understanding of the volcano's signs before the catastrophe? Did they have any knowledge of the impending disaster? Or was the eruption entirely unexpected? Despite centuries of research and excavation, the answers to these questions remain elusive, leaving us to wonder about the lives of those who once called Pompeii home. The mystery of Pompeii, then, is not just about the events of 79 AD, but also about the lives of the people who lived in the city and the fate that befell them. It is a story that invites us to reflect on the fragility of human existence, the impermanence of even the greatest civilizations, and the ways in which time and nature can erase entire worlds in an instant. As we continue to unearth new discoveries at Pompeii, we are reminded that the past is never truly gone. It lives on in the ruins, in the artifacts, and in the memories of those who came before us. Pompeii, in all its tragedy and beauty, remains one of history's greatest mysteries, both a warning and a testament to the resilience of human civilization. From the tragic ruins of Pompeii, we turn now to the shadowed mysteries of the ancient Americas, where civilizations rose and vanished long before European contact. Among these, the Maya civilization stands as one of the most enigmatic, leaving behind a legacy of astonishing architecture, astronomy, and written knowledge. Stretching across present-day Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador, the Maya built cities that were not only centers of governance and commerce, but also of profound spiritual and intellectual pursuit. Their accomplishments in mathematics, astronomy, and hieroglyphic writing were unparalleled in the ancient world. Yet much about their society and eventual decline remains cloaked in mystery. The Maya are perhaps best known for their monumental city-states, such as Tikal, Palenque, and Copan. These urban centers were dominated by towering pyramids, grand palaces, and intricately carved stelae that documented the deeds of kings, historical events, and astronomical observations. The architectural style of the Maya reflected a deep understanding of both engineering and symbolism. Pyramids were not merely tombs or temples. They were sacred spaces aligned with celestial bodies, designed to connect the earthly world with the cosmos. The Maya believed that the movements of the stars, the sun, and the moon were intertwined with human destiny, and their cities were constructed to reflect this cosmic order. One of the most remarkable aspects of Maya civilization is their advanced understanding of astronomy. The Maya developed precise calendars, including the famous long count calendar, which allowed them to track the cycles of the sun, moon, and planets with astonishing accuracy. They observed celestial phenomena, such as eclipses and planetary alignments, and these observations influenced their rituals, governance, and even warfare. The alignment of temples and pyramids with the solstices and equinoxes suggests that their architecture was an extension of their astronomical knowledge, a harmonious blend of science, art, and spirituality. Yet, despite their sophistication, the Maya civilization faced a decline that remains a subject of intense scholarly debate. Between the 8th and 9th century CE, many of the great southern city-states were abandoned, leaving behind magnificent ruins overgrown by jungle. The reasons for this sudden collapse are still uncertain, though researchers propose a combination of factors, including prolonged droughts, environmental degradation, social unrest, and warfare between rival city-states. Unlike the sudden catastrophe of Pompeii, the decline of the Maya was gradual, a complex unraveling of society that hints at the fragility of even the most advanced civilizations. The mystery deepens when we consider the Maya script, one of the most sophisticated writing systems of the pre-Columbian Americas. Maya hieroglyphs were used to record historical events, religious ceremonies, and astronomical observations, and although significant progress has been made in deciphering the script, many texts remain enigmatic. These writings offer tantalizing glimpses into the thoughts, beliefs, and governance of the Maya, yet vast portions of their knowledge are still locked within symbols we cannot fully interpret. Each glyph, each carved monument, is a fragment of a civilization that reached incredible intellectual heights, now partially lost to time. Another enduring question revolves around the nature of Maya religion and ritual. The Maya practiced elaborate ceremonies, including offerings, sacrifices, and bloodletting rituals intended to appease the gods and ensure cosmic balance. The interplay between ritual, astronomy, and governance demonstrates that religion was not merely a set of beliefs, but a guiding framework for the organization of society. Kings and priests were seen as mediators between the mortal and divine realms, their actions carefully calculated to maintain harmony with the cycles of nature and the heavens. The intricate carvings and murals that survive today provide glimpses into a world rich with symbolic meaning. Yet much of their spiritual life remains inscrutable to modern observers. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is the abrupt nature of the civilization's fragmentation. While northern Maya cities, such as Chichen Itza and Uxmal, continued to thrive for centuries afterward, the sudden abandonment of southern cities raises profound questions. How could a civilization so advanced in engineering, mathematics, and governance collapse so dramatically? Were environmental challenges alone sufficient to trigger such a decline, or did internal sociopolitical tensions contribute to the unraveling? The Maya leave behind a trail of clues, but no definitive answers, encouraging speculation that borders on the poetic. A people who could map the stars yet were vulnerable to the shifting patterns of the earth and society. Despite the mystery, the Maya civilization continues to captivate the modern imagination. Their achievements in art, architecture, mathematics, and astronomy reveal a culture of immense creativity and intellect. At the same time, the unresolved questions of their decline, the meanings behind their hieroglyphs, and the motivations of their rulers invite us to consider the delicate balance between human ingenuity and the forces beyond our control. The Maya remind us that history is never static, that civilizations rise and fall in complex interplay with nature, belief, and circumstance, leaving behind traces of brilliance and enigma for us to ponder. In contemplating the Maya, we confront both awe and humility, at the heights of human achievement and humility in the face of mysteries that resist resolution. Their cities, their writings, and their astronomical observations endure as a testament to the ingenuity of civilization that understood the cosmos in ways we are still beginning to comprehend. The Maya, in their splendor and in their decline, embody the eternal dance between knowledge and mystery, a reminder that the past is filled with secrets that continue to whisper across the centuries, waiting for those willing to listen. Continuing our journey through the shadows of history, we now turn to the enigmatic structures of Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, a remote land in the southeastern Pacific Ocean that has fascinated explorers and scholars for centuries. Known primarily for its monumental stone statues, the moai, Easter Island presents one of the most compelling examples of human ingenuity and mystery. These statues, some reaching over 30 feet in height and weighing several tons, stand as silent sentinels over the island, guarding secrets of a civilization whose origins and ultimate decline remain shrouded in uncertainty. The moai are more than stone. They're a testament to the human desire to leave a lasting mark upon the world, even in the face of isolation and adversity. The people of Rapa Nui arrived on the island sometime around the 12th century CE, settling in an environment both fertile and challenging. Despite its isolation, thousands of miles from the nearest continental landmass, they developed a complex society with a distinctive culture, language, and religion. Central to this society was the construction of the moai, which were carved from volcanic tuff, quarried at the Reino Raraku volcano. The statues were then transported, using methods that remain debated to this day, to locations around the island, often positioned on ceremonial platforms called ahu. The labor, planning, and organization required to carve, transport, and erect these massive figures suggest a society with sophisticated social structures and deep spiritual motivations. The purpose of the moai is believed to have been primarily religious and symbolic. They were likely representations of ancestors, revered leaders, or deities intended to watch over the communities and ensure prosperity. Their placement facing inland, overlooking villages, suggests a protective role, as if the ancestors themselves were guarding the people from harm. The act of carving and erecting these statues was a form of devotion, a labor-intensive process that reinforced social cohesion and emphasized the importance of ancestral veneration in Rapa Nui culture. Yet, despite centuries of study, we cannot be entirely certain of the beliefs and intentions behind the moai, leaving much to speculation and interpretation. One of the most puzzling questions about Easter Island is the method by which the moai were moved from the quarry to their final locations. Some statues weigh more than 70 tons, yet the island lacks draft animals or advanced machinery. Theories abound. Some suggest the use of wooden sleds and rollers, while others propose that the statues were walked upright using ropes and coordinated human effort. Archaeological experiments have demonstrated that both methods are plausible, yet no single technique has been definitively proven. This enduring mystery emphasizes the ingenuity of the Rapa Nui people and their ability to overcome extraordinary logistical challenges in a pre-industrial world. The construction of the moai and the society that created them, however, were not without consequences. Easter Island experienced significant environmental stress, including deforestation and soil depletion, likely exacerbated by the demands of statue construction and agriculture. Some scholars argue that the overuse of resources led to societal collapse, internecine conflict, and the eventual decline of the Rapa Nui civilization. Others suggest that external factors, such as European contact and introduced diseases, played a role in the island's population decline. Whatever the causes, the story of Easter Island serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating the delicate balance between human ambition and the limits of the natural environment. Another enduring mystery is the sheer number of moai and their distribution across the island. With nearly 900 statues documented and some partially buried or toppled, questions remain about why so many were created and how the society prioritized their placement. Some researchers propose that competition between clans drove the construction of increasingly larger and more elaborate statues, each group seeking to assert power, prestige, or spiritual favor. The rise and fall of these monumental endeavors reflect both the cultural richness of the Rapa Nui people and the social tensions inherent in their society. The decline of the Rapa Nui civilization, though gradual, leaves behind an air of melancholy. Once a thriving society capable of extraordinary feats of art and engineering, it became fragmented and vulnerable, eventually succumbing to environmental, social, and external pressures. Today, the moai stand as both relics and reminders, symbols of human achievement and the fragility of cultural endurance. They evoke questions about the knowledge, beliefs, and daily lives of the people who created them, and they inspire reflection on the forces, both natural and human, that shape civilizations. Easter Island, in its isolation and mystery, continues to captivate us precisely because of these unanswered questions. The moai are not merely stone statues. They are touchstones to a past that challenges our understanding of human ingenuity, social organization, and the ways in which people interact with their environment. They remind us that even in the most remote corners of the world, human beings have sought to create meaning, assert identity, and connect with the spiritual or ancestral. The mystery of Easter Island endures, inviting each generation to explore, interpret, and wonder at the remarkable achievements of a civilization that, though long diminished, still speaks across the centuries. As we venture further into the depths of ancient history, we find ourselves at the edge of the Mediterranean Sea, where the enduring mystery of the ancient city of Troy continues to captivate historians, archaeologists, and storytellers alike. For centuries, Troy was regarded as nothing more than a legend, immortalized in Homer's epic poem, the Iliad, which recounted the events of the Trojan War, the legendary conflict between the Greeks and the Trojans sparked by the abduction of Helen. The story, filled with gods, heroes, and mythical creatures, seemed to exist only in the realm of myth, until the 19th century, when the ruins of an ancient city were uncovered in modern-day Turkey, casting new light on the question of whether Troy was real and what the truth behind the myth might be. The search for Troy began in earnest in the 1870s when the German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann, driven by his obsession with Homer's writings, began excavating the site of Hizarlik, a mound in northwestern Turkey. Schliemann, convinced that he had found the fabled city of Troy, unearthed what appeared to be a series of ancient layers of occupation, each representing different phases of civilization. Among the discoveries were large defensive walls, fortifications, and even treasure, which Schliemann famously referred to as Priam's treasure, believing it to be the riches of the Trojan king. However, Schliemann's methods were controversial, and many of his findings, particularly the treasure, were later questioned. Despite these controversies, Schliemann's work brought global attention to the site, sparking further excavations that would reveal even more layers of Troy's complex history. Troy, as it turns out, was not a single city, but rather a succession of cities built upon one another over millennia, with the most well-known layer, Troy 6, thought by many to be the city described in Homer's epic. This layer, dating to around 1700 to 1250 BCE, shows evidence of a thriving, wealthy civilization, complete with impressive fortifications, large public buildings, and artifacts suggesting that the Trojans were skilled in trade, art, and warfare. The discovery of bronze weapons, jewelry, and pottery indicates that the city had a strong economy and was a key player in the complex web of trade routes that connected the Mediterranean world. Yet, the evidence for the Trojan War itself remains elusive. While many historians agree that Troy existed and was a significant city, they're divided on whether the events described in the Iliad are based on historical fact or if they were simply mythologized stories passed down through generations. Some scholars argue that Homer's account is a blend of historical events and fiction, a way of explaining and dramatizing the conflicts between early Greek and Anatolian peoples. Others believe that the war may have been a real event, one that was exaggerated and transformed into myth over time. In the absence of definitive proof, the question remains, was there really a war between the Greeks and the Trojans, or is the Iliad simply a work of fiction? While no clear evidence of the famed wooden horse or the exact details of the war have been uncovered, some discoveries at the site of Troy hint that the city may have been attacked and destroyed multiple times over the centuries. One theory suggests that Troy's fall was part of a larger pattern of upheavals in the Bronze Age, which saw the collapse of many great civilizations in the Eastern Mediterranean. The causes of these collapses are still debated, with theories ranging from invasions and natural disasters to internal conflicts and economic decline. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the Trojan War, the excavation of Troy has provided invaluable insights into ancient Anatolian civilization. The city's strategic location, sitting at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, made it a critical point for trade and cultural exchange. Troy's defensive walls, which were remarkably well-built and sophisticated for their time, offer a glimpse into the advanced engineering skills of the Trojans. The layers of destruction and rebuilding found at the site reveal a city that endured and adapted over centuries, surviving attacks and hardships. This speaks to the resilience of Troy's people, who, despite facing numerous challenges, managed to create a society that left behind a lasting legacy. Perhaps one of the most fascinating aspects of Troy is the way its myth has transcended time, shaping not only the course of history, but also literature and culture. The story of Troy has been retold countless times, from ancient Greek tragedies to modern novels, films, and even video games. The image of the city's fall, with the Greeks using cunning to infiltrate the walls of Troy through the guise of a giant wooden horse, has become one of the most enduring symbols of trickery, fate, and the folly of war. The myth of Troy serves as a powerful reminder of the fragility of human pride and the often painful consequences of conflict. Whether or not the Trojan War took place as described in the Iliad, the legacy of Troy is undeniable. The archaeological evidence uncovered at Hisarlik has demonstrated that the city was a thriving center of trade, culture, and warfare, and it likely played a crucial role in the ancient world. At the same time, the myth of Troy continues to resonate with us, offering timeless lessons about war, honor, and the human condition. The true story of Troy may never be fully known, but its place in history, both as a city and a myth, remains secure. Troy, in all its grandeur and mystery, invites us to reflect on the intersection of myth and reality, and how the past continues to shape our present. It serves as a reminder that even the most ancient tales, woven from both fact and fiction, have the power to endure across centuries, inspiring new generations to seek the truth hidden within the legend. As our exploration of ancient mysteries draws us ever deeper, we turn now to the heart of Egypt, where the great pyramids of Giza stand as silent guardians over the sands of time. These monumental structures, considered one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, have captivated humanity for millennia. Standing at the edge of the vast desert, the Great Pyramid of Khufu, also known as the Pyramid of Cheops, rises like a colossal sentinel, an ancient marvel of engineering and mystery. While they are iconic symbols of Egypt's glory, the pyramids continue to inspire awe not only for their sheer size, but for the enigmatic purpose behind their construction and the methods by which they were built. The pyramids of Giza were constructed during the 4th dynasty of Egypt's Old Kingdom, around 2580 BCE, under the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. These rulers were responsible for the most spectacular burial structures ever built by any civilization. The Great Pyramid, built for Pharaoh Khufu, originally stood at 146.6 meters, 481 feet, making it the tallest man-made structure on Earth for over 3,800 years. It is estimated that over 2 million stone blocks, each weighing several tons, were used to create this immense structure. The sheer scale and precision of the pyramid's construction have long been a subject of fascination, sparking theories about the advanced techniques the ancient Egyptians must have used. How were these massive stones transported? How were they hoisted into place with such precision, given the limited technology available at the time? For centuries, scholars and archaeologists have speculated on the methods used to construct the pyramids. Some believe the Egyptians employed a system of ramps, either straight, zigzagging, or spiral ramps, to move the massive stones into place. Others argue that the ramps themselves remain lost to time, and the true method of construction may never be fully understood. What remains clear is the immense labor and planning that must have gone into constructing these tombs, as well as the profound spiritual and religious significance they held for the ancient Egyptians. The pyramids were not merely burial sites, but intricate, sacred structures designed to aid the pharaohs in their journey to the afterlife. According to ancient Egyptian beliefs, the pharaoh was seen as a divine ruler, a living god who was intimately connected to the gods of the heavens. Upon death, the pharaoh's spirit would embark on a journey through the underworld, and the pyramid was thought to serve as both a tomb and a portal to the afterlife. The layout of the pyramid complex was meticulously planned, with chambers, passages, and hidden corridors, all intended to protect the pharaoh's body and treasures from robbers and to ensure a smooth transition to the next world. The interior of the Great Pyramid is equally mysterious. Hidden beneath its towering stone exterior are narrow, cramped passageways and chambers, including the king's chamber, where the pharaoh's sarcophagus would have been placed. The exact purpose of some of these internal features is still debated. One of the most intriguing aspects of the pyramid's construction is its alignment with the stars. The Great Pyramid is aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, and some researchers have suggested that the pyramid's precise alignment may have been designed to correspond with certain stars, such as those in the constellation Orion, which was associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife. This celestial connection deepens the mystery of the pyramids, suggesting that their purpose was as much about cosmology and spiritual symbolism as it was about burial. Over the centuries, the pyramids have been the subject of countless theories, both scholarly and speculative. Some claim that the pyramids were built by aliens, citing their immense size and precision as evidence of extraterrestrial involvement. Others believe the pyramids were part of an ancient lost civilization, one that possessed advanced technology long before the Egyptians came to power. While these theories capture the imagination, mainstream archaeology maintains that the pyramids were built by the ancient Egyptians themselves, using ingenuity, labor, and simple tools. Regardless of the methods, the pyramids remain a monumental achievement in human history, a testament to the power of ancient Egyptian culture and religion. What adds to the mystery of the pyramids is the ongoing question of how they were preserved. The Great Pyramid, though stripped of much of its original casing stone, still stands as a remarkable achievement in engineering. Its durability has withstood thousands of years of natural wear, including earthquakes and the encroaching desert. The sheer endurance of these structures, built so long ago, continues to inspire both awe and reverence, as they remain largely intact despite the ravages of time. The pyramids of Giza are not only an architectural marvel, they're also a window into the ancient Egyptian worldview, one that saw death not as an end, but as a transition to an eternal existence. In this sense, the pyramids are not just tombs, but eternal markers of a civilization's belief in the divine order of the cosmos. They stand as an enduring symbol of the Egyptians' quest for immortality, both for their rulers and for their culture as a whole. Even now, with centuries of research and exploration, the mysteries of the pyramids continue to captivate and challenge us. As we uncover more about their construction, their purpose, and the lives of those who built them, we are reminded that the pyramids of Giza are not merely ancient monuments. They're living symbols echoing across millennia and whispering secrets about the past that may never fully be understood. As our exploration of ancient mysteries begins to draw to a close, we find ourselves in the dense jungles of Central America, where the ancient Maya left behind an enigmatic legacy that continues to capture our imaginations. The city of Teotihuacan, often overshadowed by the more famous Maya cities like Tikal and Palenque, stands as a testament to the incredible achievements of a lost civilization. Despite being located far from a Maya heartlands, the city of Teotihuacan was one of the largest and most influential cities in pre-Columbian America. Its impressive architecture, advanced urban planning, and mysterious origins make it one of the most intriguing ancient sites in the world. Teotihuacan, which means the place where the gods were created in Nahuatl, was once a thriving metropolis, home to a population of over 100,000 people at its peak. The city was meticulously planned, with wide avenues, plazas, and massive pyramids that reflected the city's importance both in terms of political power and spiritual significance. The most famous of these structures are the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon, both of which dominate the landscape and are aligned with the cardinal directions. These pyramids were likely centers of religious and ceremonial activity, serving as symbols of Teotihuacan's connection to the divine. What makes Teotihuacan truly mysterious, however, is the question of who its builders were. Unlike other ancient civilizations, the people of Teotihuacan left behind no definitive records, no written language, and no clear indication of the identity of their rulers. Archaeologists have uncovered murals, pottery, and artifacts that suggest a complex and vibrant culture. Yet the absence of inscriptions or any concrete evidence of a city's rulers leaves us to wonder. Who were the architects of this great city? Who built these grand pyramids and why? Despite its grandeur, Teotihuacan's history is shrouded in mystery. Scholars continue to debate its rise and fall, with various theories suggesting different factors that may have contributed to its decline. Some believe that Teotihuacan's collapse was due to internal strife, social upheaval, or even warfare between different factions within the city. Others speculate that the city's downfall was linked to environmental factors, such as droughts or resource depletion. Regardless of the cause, by the time the Aztecs arrived centuries later, the once great city had already been abandoned, its temples and pyramids standing as silent reminders of a civilization lost to history. One of the most enduring mysteries of Teotihuacan is the role of religion in the city's society. The sheer scale of the pyramids and the intricate artwork found throughout the city suggest that the people of Teotihuacan were deeply religious. The alignment of their pyramids with celestial bodies and the rituals performed within these sacred spaces point to a culture that placed immense importance on cosmology, astronomy, and the divine. The city's name, the place where the gods were created, hints at the profound spiritual beliefs that were central to Teotihuacan society, but the lack of written records means we can only speculate on the exact nature of these beliefs. Today, Teotihuacan remains one of the most visited archaeological sites in the world, attracting millions of visitors who come to marvel at its awe-inspiring ruins and to ponder the mystery of its creators. The city stands as a monument not only to the people who built it, but to the enduring human quest to understand our place in the universe and the forces that shape our world. Although much about Teotihuacan remains hidden in the sands of time, the city's remains continue to speak to us, urging us to seek out the truths that lie beneath the surface, truths that may one day illuminate the long-lost secrets of this ancient civilization.